What's up, man? I want to talk about the situation in the NBA, controversy over there in China. We know that the NBA and Nike, mainly Nike, well, anywhere cheap labor is consumed and produced. A lot of it's produced in China. If you look on a lot of your kids' toys or TVs, a lot of electronical stuff is made in China, right? And I'm just gonna lead this particularly just to the shoe company at Nike. Nike shoe company, have stars like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Klay Thompson, a lot of these guys, Russell Westbrook, and a lot of the shoe companies, shoes are made in China, and these they call them sweatshops. I see the documentary on China and their workers and them working in the Chinese factories. These people work for little or nothing. They work about 16 hours a day, and over here, we will never be. And they're kind of forced to work 16 because they don't have the same labor laws that we have over here. They don't have the same. They don't have treated badly at a certain company or job. It's a dictatorship over there. Everybody knows that. Even I'm 42 years old, and I've been knowing about the Chinese situation for years, probably since before high school. I mean, you just know that the Chinese, they live under the dictatorship ruling. You know what I'm saying? And they have been, and it has been like that for a long time. And the NBA is playing over there, and I believe Daryl Morey sent out a tweet saying that he's bagging the protesters over there for human rights. It's a human rights situation. They're starving their people over there. A lot of people are dying because of starvation. They're not being fed, or they don't have jobs and things of that nature. So they're being mistreated. Like over here in America, if someone is mistreated like that, people protest, people speak up, people can speak up for you, and it's not the same over there, which I understand that. And Daryl Morey, the Chinese government got mad at Daryl Morey, so I guess they postponed a lot of things, and a lot of the athletes like LeBron James, James Harden, they can't speak on the situation because the NBA probably told them don't even speak on it, especially the shoe companies, because the shoe companies it's like what, 1 billion people in China, so probably like 800 of them, 600 of them, 600 million of them are sports fans, and that's a lot of money. That's a lot of dollars. And the NBA and Nike have been doing business with China for years. So my thing is this: should LeBron James and them be concerned of what's going on over there? And maybe not. You should now when they speak, now people are getting on them because they are not speaking over it. Now I got two sides to this. People are on their backs because they speak about things that's happening over here in America, and they're not speaking about things that's happening over there. My thing is this: you should clean up your own backyard first before you speak about something else. You know what I'm saying? But we also have the money situation. Now, LeBron James and them don't have to go over there and try, because they're not going to change anything over there in China. They don't have to go over there and voice their opinion and say, well, this is this, and that. They can say it's wrong, and they can say, things should be better over here, but they're not going to change anything over there. So I'm not getting on them for that, not speaking out for that situation over there. But my thing is this: you don't have to contribute and make money off the Chinese people backs if you're all about human rights. Because like James Harden said this. He didn't know what he was talking about. He said everybody in the world has freedom of speech. I got news for Mr. James Harden. Everyone in the world does not have freedom of speech. It's a lot of countries that live under the dictatorship of a ruler, and they don't have freedom of speech. You can just look at China, where your shoe company, Nikes, are made, and where you are making money from China. They don't have freedom of speech. And then Richard Jefferson said, well, when I was 26, 27 years old, I was ignorant to the fact that was going on in China. That could be true. That could be true. But James Harden, I don't know when he signed with Nike, but he's been in business with Nike for a little while. He's been going over to China for a little while. On the off season, a lot of these NBA players go over there, make appearances, and make a lot of money. Because they are making money in China, and they got business things going on in China. So you mean to tell me James Harden didn't know before this situation happened, before this year, that China people were not treated right? Come on, man. That's I don't believe that. I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't believe that Richard Jefferson did not know about that. Everybody knows that, because they've been living like that under that rulership just before I was born, before Richard Jefferson was born, because I'm older than Richard Jefferson. He said he's 39. So you mean to tell me you didn't know that they were living on a dictatorship, a rulership, by a government that kills their own people, that starves their people, the human rights they don't have human rights over there. They work them to death. When you go to prison, you're not being treated right. Americans have went to prison in China. That one guy I believe he threw down the poster in one of the China restaurants or something like that, and he went to jail and he got sent home to his family, but he died because of the things he was going through in the Chinese prisons. So I don't believe for 1 second that James Harden and all these guys did not know what was going on in China before now. That's hard for me to believe. And if they did, this is the age of information. This is what I say about, I hate to keep on harping. I don't like to attack generations, but this generation is in the age of information. For you not to know certain things is just unacceptable. It really is. Especially like that. You in business with the Chinese and you don't know what's going on over there. I'm not saying you have to know everything that's going on over there, but the big picture that happened in China is the people are being mistreated. That's the big picture. Now, I'm not saying that it's LeBron James and them job to talk about that and say, in a changing matter, because they're not going to change it. LeBron James not going to change it. James Harden not going to change it. Nike is not going to change it. They're not going to change it. But what I'm saying is this: you don't have to take money from the Chinese. You don't have to take money from the government, Chinese government, because their government is running everything. You don't have to take the Chinese government money if you believe that people should have human rights. You should say this: hey, yeah, all money ain't good money. I'm not gonna take your money because I don't like how the conditions on how you have your people living. I don't like how you treating your people. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, LeBron James and a lot of these athletes, they are speaking up, quote unquote, speaking up for people in America. Okay, speaking up. As things don't go right, Colin Kaepernick took a kneel. Kneeled before the NFL game, and because he said he's gonna keep kneeling and not stand before a flag that allow police officers to shoot black and brown people. Okay. LeBron James, when people get killed, young people, young black people get killed, he speak up. Carmelo Anthony spoke up. Chris Paul spoke up. Okay. If you all about that's why when you attach yourself to these type of situations, people expect you to know about this situation as a whole. And what people gonna fail to realize is, just because these are athletes don't mean they know everything. Don't mean that they're well informed about everything, because Richard Jefferson just told you he wasn't informed about the Chinese government. He didn't know about the Chinese government. He didn't know about this situation. Okay, and he said he's 39 years old. He's just not figuring out what's going on over there. Like I said, I've been knowing about this since I was probably before 18. So and I didn't live in the age of information. You know what I'm saying? So these guys are a couple buttons pushed away from knowing a lot of information in the world. So, like I said, when you attach yourself, and look, when that one lady off the Fox news station told LeBron James to shut up and dribble, LeBron James got all defensive and all mad and all whiny. You know what he should have did? He should have went on her platform and stated his case on why he thinks this about the president, or this situation about this young black person being murdered, being slaughtered in the streets by police officers. He should have went on there and articulated his point of view instead of whining and crying about it. See, that's what a man does. I mean, that's what a person does that is well informed. See, he didn't want to go on the show because he didn't want to be. I guess he didn't want his opinions to be challenged. You know what I'm saying? Because if he goes on her show, she's going to challenge a lot of his opinions. It's just what it is, and he has to be confident enough to push back and stand and bring up opinions. And now, was he ready? Was he ready to do that? Look, Malcolm X. See, when y'all try to correlate these guys of today versus the guys back then, those people like Malcolm X, like Muhammad Ali, even Muhammad Ali, like a lot of those guys, they were willing and eager to go to other people's platforms and state their case, or stand on their opinions, or stand on what they believe in the face of people that have something bad or don't agree with their opinion. They went on there and on their shows and said what they had to say. If you challenge their opinion, they still stood on what they believe in, and they attacked your opinion. See, that's why I don't put these athletes, because these athletes are making a lot of money, right? They got guaranteed contracts. They can say whatever they want to say because they're set for life. A lot of these athletes are set for life. A lot of those athletes back then, they didn't have guaranteed contracts. They weren't making a whole lot of money. And they still spoke out. So Bill Russell, guys of that nature, those guys spoke out. Didn't have big money or a corporation behind them. They got a lot of these players. Like I said, they got Nike behind them. LeBron James got Nike behind him. Colin Kaepernick got Nike behind him. It's mighty funny. Colin Kaepernick didn't have a Nike. He didn't have a Nike contract before he took a kneel. Now, somebody can prove me. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Did Colin Kaepernick have a Nike contract before he took a kneel? Before he kneeled? Because Nike looked at him and said, "Man, we can make money off of that. We can brand that." It's all about. Look, I'm not. This is a capitalist society. I'm not saying you shouldn't make money. What I'm saying is this: if you're worried about human rights, if you just worried about people having a voice and all this stuff, you have to be like that across the board. You don't have to take China money. You don't have to. But if you are going to do it, then when people come up to you and say, "Man, you speaking on what's going on in America, it's stuff going on over here that's worse, or I mean, that's just as worse or worse than what's going on in America." But you're not going to speak on this. You're going to go over here and play a basketball game, and you're not going to speak on the Chinese people starving, or the Chinese people labor laws, where your shoes are made. Michael Jordan's in the same boat, where all y'all shoes are made. This is where y'all shoes are made, and you're not going to speak on the labor laws here. You're not going to speak on the people, that's people are going to ask you those questions. So you can't be surprised when people ask you those questions. You can't be caught off guard. You can't say like Richard Jefferson, I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on in China. I didn't know they had a dictatorship in China. I thought they had a president. I thought they had 3 branches of government. I thought they had the Congress, the Senate. You know what I'm saying? I thought they had all that stuff. The Supreme Court. No, they don't have that. No, they don't have the freedom of speech. They can't just come out and speak out like LeBron James and them run their mouth over here. Now, it's some things that I agree with them, and it's some things that I push back on and be like, okay, you don't know what you're talking about, or you need to be more informed. Because if you're gonna get in that political world, which a lot of these guys are stepping their foot into, like when you're speaking up on certain political things, you have to be informed, because people are gonna challenge you. They're going to see just how much you know and how much you don't know. So you have to be you don't have to know everything, but you have to be informed. Especially you have to be well informed on the things that you are talking about. If you're not well informed on the things you are talking about, then you shouldn't be speaking on them. Everybody That because people is making money or successful in this endeavor doesn't mean you should be speaking up for people, a large group of people. It's just what it is. You shouldn't. It doesn't mean you should be able to have a voice, because everybody nowadays have a voice and everybody can speak on anything. They can get on Twitter and whine and bitch and moan about this and that. Everyone, because just because you can do something, I tell this to my kids all the time. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. Just because you can speak on something doesn't mean you should speak on it. Are you well informed? Do you know what you're speaking? Do you know what the things that you are speaking about? Like I said, man, I'm not saying LeBron James and them should have a opinion on what's going on in China like they do over here, because like I said, you should clean up your backyard, your own backyard first. But don't tell me you ain't know what was going on in China. Just don't tell me that. Just don't. I don't. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that Richard Jefferson said that he didn't know what was going on in China. Just embarrassed. I'm embarrassed because you should know what's going on. Everybody knows. It's well documented. Why you think China is not part of the UN? Why you think America is at odds with China in a lot of ways? It's just, to me, man, it's ignorance 101. This is the age of information, man. Everybody got this information, man. Everybody go out, research, double research. Just if you're gonna be speaking on something, man, just be informed, be well informed on it, or just don't speak on it just because you think you can speak on it. Let me know what y'all think, man. I'm out.